Okay. Oh, is there no music? Okay, hang on. Oh yeah, because it's on the select screen. Here, I will leave the music for a second. Yeah, well, music 2 is the best, so that's what we're playing with. Yeah, Howard will get knocked off immediately.
Hey guys.
Hello. So Tetris a bit more volume, sounds like. Okay, I'm ready whenever you guys are for the timer and so on. Okay, I guess we're gonna get started then. Okay, so should I just count you down then? Okay, I guess I'm gonna get started in, I guess, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so this is NES Tetris Max Out attempts, so not usually something tracked for speed runs, at least not quite yet, but I guess I can talk a little bit about what would make this the fastest speed run first. I guess first off I started on level 18 because there's a line counting glitch that makes it actually like a good, like, you know, at least 50 lines shorter if you start at levels past 15. So that saves several minutes right off the bat. Also, let me try to clean this up first. It's hard to talk and play a little bit. The fastest I think would be if you could play the whole game out and max out on level 19, but that's kind of risky, so I'm just going to play 18 attempts today. I've never maxed out on 19. There's only like about, I think, three or four people that have. But yeah, if you play on 19, it saves another minute at least in time, just because you're basically constantly pressing down. That's me kind of a little bit of warm up. I don't know how good this score is gonna be at the transition. Yeah, and also this run would also not be very marathon safe for like just single attempts, just because it's very difficult to max out the game. You usually do it right up by the end of the run, because there is a like mandatory end of the game where there's a kill screen of sorts. So usually max out attempts are, you know, making it there like right by the end of the game. But I'm going to do my best to try to get some good scores on the board, which this first attempt is not, unfortunately. So I was warming up a bit before the before starting, but it's still, this game can be kind of rough at times. Maxing out is getting 999,999 points, which is the maximum that the score counter can show. Yeah, NES Tetris is not the best Tetris speed game. There are other speed games, like one of the most prime examples would be Arika's Tetris the Grandmaster Arcade series, but as far as games on the NES that are Tetris goes, the official Nintendo one is the best game to play, so like it is the one that is the most, you know, rewarding in terms of challenge and skill and so on, even though it's not as good as the speed games on other platforms. But there's a lot of interesting technical stuff that can come up. Yeah, RNG is definitely an issue for NES Tetris that's less so in the later speed games. Oh no. I just lost some momentum there a little bit. That's one of the main things I'll try to explain in a second. Ah, jeez, okay. Yeah, so I guess the first thing I'll explain about like mechanics in this game is momentum. There's sort of like a keyboard repeat for like holding left and right. The startup is 16 frames, and after that the piece moves every 10 frames. The trick with it is that you can hold it over between pieces as long as you don't tap a piece around. And I did tap a piece over and lost it, but as long as you only change directions between pieces, you can always have like a 10 Hz mash rate, which is great because it's difficult for most people to mash over 10 Hz on the D-pad. There's one person that can, who has probably the fastest time on this game at like, they could have actually beaten it faster, but they set up to get to like one level past the kill screen in addition to maxing it out. But yeah, like Thor Ackerland, if you heard the name, he can like just mash pieces way faster than 10 per second and just like stack way high on the screen, which lets him save a lot more time. Oh crap. Ah, I'm having some issues. Alright. First 3 runs were all pretty garbage so far, so hopefully I could sit and focus on this one a little bit more. But I'm also trying to get a little bit of info about the game out there, so it's not just like, I don't know, unintelligible. Yeah, I need to try to focus on it a little bit in addition to reading the chat and so on. And hopefully I can at least, you know, if not max out, get some 900s on the board. I've been choking really badly like the last couple weeks. A bunch of games that, you know, had plenty of room before the kill screen at level 29 to max out, and then just like couldn't walk them in. but I've had some good scoring runs, so there's some good potential here. Alright, this is a bit cleaner. Yeah, so like I was saying earlier with the levels, since I'm starting on 18 with the line counting bug, I'll progress to level 19 at 130 lines. So I want to have like 500k by that point, ideally, because then it's like the final stretch. 19 to 28, the piece falls every 2 rows. I mean, a row every 2 frames. So it's like the maximum survival speed in this game, given how fast the move speed is and so on. So I want to pick up my last, half of the points in that end game. Okay, this is going pretty good in terms of scoring pace, just gonna clean it up. Oops. I was gonna try for like a tech move, but I decided that was not safe. Sometimes, if I need to get a piece like very far over to the left, but the move speed won't let it get over, I'll have to hold left to the last like couple of frames, and then tap one extra time to go faster than the move speed. But the risk in that is that I don't have momentum to move the next piece since I tapped. So this game can be kind of scary sometimes when you have to do really tight moves. They usually leave you with nothing to work with the next piece. But there's a lot of weird stuff you can abuse. There's a rule in there that if you press left or right into the wall, that your move momentum is automatically maxed out, and the reason for that is so you can slide under little overhangs, like as a buffered move. But you can also just abuse it, like tap against the wall, and then you have your counter maxed out for the next piece. Yeah, if you can read questions, that'd be fine. I can read chat, but once I get to the second half of the game, I won't be able to anymore. And it's also questionable whether I'll be able to respond very coherently once the game speed doubles, but yeah.
Yeah, sure, I can keep an eye on it for you.
Thank you. This is pretty good pace right now. Except it's kind of messy in the middle, I'm kind of scared.
I think Chad is in awe. Honestly.
There's a buffered slide right there. Alright, yeah, I'm about to transition into the second half of the game, so hopefully I don't get hosed here on RNG, because it would make it a lot less safe. Okay, good. Just pieces to clear down with is what I want right now. There we go, perfect. Okay, there's a possibility here. I have to keep it together. So I have another 100 lines before the game ends, basically. There we go. That was scary. That could have been an issue. Oh, it still is an issue. Ah, damn it. Yeah, mistakes can be game enders really easy at the 19 speed. Yeah, it didn't get to the kill screen. That's really unfortunate, because that was a good score pace right there. Having over 500 before 19 is definitely important for getting a max out happening. It's really hard to play at that speed. That was sort of dropping the ball. Back to square one a little bit. I have a weird setup here. I wanted to clear it away with a J, because I could have gotten the top cleared away right away, but got RNG'd a little bit. Sometimes you just have to go with a different plan. I don't like how this run is starting. Oops. Yes, making more of a mess, that's unfortunate. Okay. I'm gonna just keep platforming this for a little bit until I can clean it up. I don't want to lose scoring pace more than I already have, like at the beginning of the game. So I'm just gonna try to stack on top of until it resolves cleanly. I need to skim one line out. Oops. Ah. Yeah, and the other tricky part about maxing out is that you almost have to sort of take a little bit more risks than you normally would on like just a normal safe game. Otherwise the scoring pace is too low. So it's kind of scary. You can get in some positions where you have to kind of battle with the RNG a little bit and try to just survive on top of something. Ah, yeah, stacked too high. Man. I have to get back and focus on this again. Yeah, this game is really, really rough. Definitely not something you could just pull to a marathon and, you know, max out in one shot. Oh, you know, just make it sub 8 and just like be like, all right, cool. But if you have a block to make attempts, there's a little bit more of a shot. Yeah, regarding the lines, the one, here, I'm going to start this one. The one difference is that if you start at 18, that there's just 130 lines until 19 because of the line scaling glitch, which actually is kind of nice because it balances the scoring, otherwise it'd be actually really, really easy to max out. So, I don't know, it's kind of nice for... It's a double-edged sword. It's interesting that the game still has challenge to max when you start at 18. Yeah,
Someone asked...
Huh?
I said someone asked about tournaments.
Yeah, actually, a couple of weeks ago was the Classic Tetris World Championships, and we played this game. It's like a score attack tournament. And I placed, I guess, 6th, like got to the round of 8 and then kind of burned out. It's really rough because, like I was saying, you have to take risks to max out. So now you are in this position where you can't take risks in the bracket, and you have to sort of watch what the other guy is doing and how high he's scoring, because otherwise when you get to 19 you want to sort of hold back a little bit, not, you know, shoot for as many Tetrises because it's a little more dangerous, and then, you know, be ahead in points by the kill screen and so on. So it's really rough. There's also tournaments for other, you know, non-Nintendo games that are either versus or, you know, other formats or whatever. But for Nintendo, yeah, we have a score attack tournament. I think somebody said something about max out scores. No, every version of Tetris is kind of different, and in some you're not even playing for score, like I mentioned earlier. In Tetris the Grandmaster, it's actually like a speedrun game where you are playing for time. But yeah, they all kind of have different max out scores, or some of them roll. Like, that's why Tengen Tetris is sort of less fun after a certain point, is because it's like not really a technical game, and the score counter rolls forever, and it never gets fast enough to kill you, so you just like kind of play forever. So yeah, like every version of Tetris is kind of different. I'm getting droughted out a little bit here. Oh, there we go, good. Yeah, sometimes you'll have to just, you know, play for, you know, 40 pieces without an eyepiece. It doesn't happen, like, super often, but sometimes the game decides, alright, now you need to just live. And you have to sort of battle out the RNG a little bit. Yeah, I'm getting hurt here. I just need to get down as part of it. But I need to also not screw up my scoring pace too much. That's why this game can be really hard. I think, you know, you can get to a kill screen every single game if you try, if you just play safe. But maxing out every game is really difficult. I'd say that there's probably a chance to do it every game, and maybe even get 900k every game, but you have to play around whatever screwballs the game's throwing you. Yeah, this scoring pace is really low right now. Like, I looked at the score, I'm at like 284k at 900 lines. I mean at 90 lines, sorry, brain is not working. But really would have wanted that like 30 lines ago, so this is gonna be a hard fought battle for score. Yeah, I've played a little bit of Puyo Tetris, Puyo X Tetris, not a lot though. I haven't played online or anything. The thing I heard about it though is that it's like, if you just play the, not like the mix modes, but just Puyo versus Tetris, like, it's a 9-10 matchup against Puyo, unfortunately. Tetris wins with the way they balance the game. Like, if you put a top Tetris person and a top Puyo person against each other, the Puyo person will almost never win, which is really a shame. Wow, yeah, this transition score is super, super low, so I'd be 400. It's still possible to max out, but I'm just kind of scared.
There's a question in chat, how well you do if you do not have the next piece available.
Oh, not well at all. If you want to see that later, that's a huge mess. You need to have the next piece to plan your move, because if you're not holding the button before the piece comes out, then you're kind of screwed. It's really hard to move the piece quickly enough, because you have to drop momentum. I'm going to die. Nah. Too high up in the field. Alright, but that was a really bad transition. I need to get a good score on the board. But yeah, without the next pieces, it's pretty rough. We've tried, but like, you have to kind of predict what the next piece is going to be. Otherwise, you can't move it. I mean, actually, there is a move tech that I found out that would maybe make it a little bit more reasonable, but normally you have to hold left or right before the piece comes out in order to keep your momentum from the last one. But if you do kind of like a little Hadoken thing, like use a diagonal input to mute the tap shift so the game doesn't see that you tapped. Because normally you can't drop diagonally, so if you press down, it just ignores left and right for that frame. Then you can press the direction you want to move the piece and keep your momentum. So I think that'd be the trick that you would absolutely need to use for no next piece. Because you'd have to keep your momentum and then see that there's what the piece is, and then do like a little Hadoken trick to move it over after it's already in the playfield. But yeah, no next piece is pretty painful. It's also, like, you have a plan for the next piece, but it's not always easy to quickly adjust your plan for the piece you see after that with just one preview. When you have games with, like, you know, 2 or 3 previews, it's a little bit easier to streamline all that. But you can make small adjustments to your plan for this piece once you see what the next one is. But you kind of have to have an idea in your head for every piece.
Someone in chat asked, have you ever dreamed about this game?
Oh, like the Tetris effect? Yeah, it's something that kind of goes away a little bit once you like get really good at the game. I think it's with every game you sort of have that effect where you think about it because your brain's trying to puzzle out stuff the next time you play. But I get it less now. Sometimes I'll still get it if I do something like new or strange, but like it doesn't happen all the time. I just need to get rid of this thing on the top. I thought about trying to like platform it out, but I'm way too high. It just doesn't want to let me have my day right now. Been skimming on this drought for a while. There we go. Okay. And this score's not as bad as the last one. I could pick up some points and catch up.
There's a question, how long would you estimate somebody would have to play to get as good as you at this?
I'm not sure. I know that some people have maxed out NES Tetris within, like, a couple of years of playing, I think. Like, because this also wasn't my, like, you know, native game at first. I came from the Tetris Grandmaster series, and then came over and started working on this game, and it took me a couple of years to max out. I've also heard other people say that once they started trying to play it seriously, it took them, you know, a few, like 2 or 3 years or something. So I don't know, but I've been playing like Tetris games seriously for maybe more like what year is it now? Like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years maybe? Because I started playing TGM series, the arcade, like, you know, speed Tetris, like speedrun Tetris, in like 2006 late, I think. So yeah. But yeah, I would say like in order to accumulate the skills to max out, like you still have to, you know, kind of contend with the game and get a good run going and so on. But yeah, a few years, I think. Couple of years, yeah, you know. No problem. There's only 16 people that we know have done it. A couple years, you can do it.
That led to a few questions about your age.
I am 24. I am the, like, baby of the NES Tetris scorer community, by far. I'm about to transition, and I'm really high up the field, and I didn't notice, so I might die. Oh man. Game wanted me to live. Yes. Thank you, game. Praise the RNG. Okay, final stretch once again. I'm droughted out though. Oh my god, no! I didn't have momentum to move it over. Ah, this game is killing me. That was bad tech. Like, I need to also leave more safe options to not die, but when the piece actually came up, I could have moved it over, but I didn't have momentum, so I tried to tech it off the wall, like just tapping against the wall to cheat the game and give it to me, but it did not work. Ah, man.
So someone asked, how rare is a max out? I assume that means for you. Like, so how many times on average do you think you would have to play before you would see one max out?
It's really rough. I've only maxed out a couple times. I have a lot of games that are, you know, close and then I die lately. So it's pretty rare for me still, unfortunately. Like, I have a lot of, you know, like 900, like 80 games, or I'll have like a lot of, you know, games that are 900 and I have levels to spare, but then I'll get killed. So I'm not 100% sure how rare it is for me, but it's still fairly rare. There's other players that can do it like on demand. Well, not on demand, but you kind of understand where within a few attempts that they can do it. One player did max out in qualifiers at the tournament last week. But yeah, it's more common for me to have like one away, or you know, or unfortunately die right now. I've been trying to up the consistency, but it's tricky. It's like there's this balance between the consistency of living and scoring high enough to actually make it before the game ends, so for me, still kind of rare.
TMR has asked what you consider beating the game. I guess as in, like, when would you stop? When would you say that you're totally done?
I think there's two main conditions. One is the game has a kill screen at level 29, which is what you're sort of contending against to max out before the game just kind of kills you. So that's one, like, you know, if you just want to, like, kind of, like, quote-unquote do a casual play of this game, then I think that is what I would consider the end. And then there's, like, the 100%, which is, you know, actually maxing the score counter, which is, I think, what most people want to accomplish when they, like, want to, like, play this game super seriously. They're sort of like a secondary goal, which is the game kill screens at 29, but people wonder, well, is it possible to get to 30? And I think one, maybe two people have actually made it, but it's incredibly difficult. You have to kind of set up for it, like right before the game ends, so with like a center well, because the piece speed doubles at that point, and Thor Ackerland, like I was mentioning earlier, has the like mash rate to mash pieces around at that speed, and he was able to clear one level and make it to 30, where the score counter starts glitching out and it's like says 0-0 again. But it's kind of like a category unto itself. It's much more difficult. I think somebody asked about the PAL version.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Somebody also asked if it was possible to find videos from the tournaments that you were talking about participating in.
Yeah, they were streamed on Twitch, I think, through Twin Galaxies page, and somebody also downloaded all of them to like have an archive. So I think if you search on YouTube, Terry has them uploaded on his YouTube account also. It's streams from the like actual bracket, so score rates are going to be lower because people are trying to not be killed. I don't know. This game is really rough. I think the highest score I've seen in a bracket match was like 800k, and that was like insane. And I think they were just like pulling out all the stops, and then the highest score this year in a bracket match was like 700k. But yeah, like I said, one person did max out in qualifiers this year. Oh, and then I think about the PAL version, I have played it in an emulator, but I don't have a cartridge and a PAL NES yet. I want to get one because I actually do have a TV that will sync to 50 Hz. PAL is like European Extreme Edition of this game. They totally broke all of the physics when they tried to port it to 50 Hz. Kind of like how some other games are. Like I think Super Mario Bros. Has like reasonable physics for PAL, but then you have games like Yoshi's Island, or I think Super Metroid has weird physics sometimes too, right? Well, Tetris is like that. Like the game actually just plays way faster, and it's really scary. It gets to, like the left-right speed of the pieces is faster, so it's more playable, but it gets to the same speed as 29, the kill screen in this game, at 19. So it's basically impossible to max out. Like, people have played many lines of 19, but like I think somebody's record is 100 lines of 19, which just seems insane to me, but you can't really Tetris at that speed anymore because the game is just like sending pieces down, and there's no lock delay, so you can't shift pieces around once they stick down. So yeah, like PAL is like some crazy person game, but I want to play it really bad, so I'm gonna get a PAL NES. On the bright side, I guess it has like a debug cheat. You could just do the debug cheat way to max out PAL Tetris, but that's really stupid. You max it out immediately. They left in some debug cheat that just gives you a lot of points if you hold a certain button. It's like every piece you put down, it gives you a score bonus. It's like, no. Oh, I missed that. That's bad. That's not too hard to hit either. The timing and twists in this game you can actually see, since every block is some number of frames that it takes for the piece to fall. So when I start at 18 like this, it's 3 frames, so I missed a 3-frame window, which feels kind of bad. Because, you know, I don't know, it's wider than just like a 2-frame. There's never a frame, well, there can be frame perfect windows in this game, but usually it's just, you know, the tightest window is usually just the 2-frame to twist on 19. But yeah, I should have been able to do that and save myself a little bit. Man, I feel bad that I haven't put up anything above 600k. It's like I have all these games where the transition score is high enough, but like something horrible happens. It's also, I think, kind of hard to just wake up and play Tetris. It's early in the morning for me. Well, not early, but yeah.
I don't think you need to feel bad, man. This is some pretty impressive stuff.
Okay, if you say so. Ah, my god. Hey. Okay. Alright, man, let's do this. Max it out. One shot, 1 kill. After all the failed attempts. That was all just warm up, no worries. But yeah, the thing about this game, though, I think, is that if you're good at another Tetris game and you migrate over, I think scores of 500k are pretty achievable, but it's the second half of the game that, you know, will bite you up, just like, you know, chew you up and spit you back out kind of thing, so that's why it also feels like I need to get another game, you know, at least like a 700 or something.
2 questions just came through. One of them was how this Tetris game is gameplay-wise compared to other versions of Tetris. The other one is just do you run anything else besides Tetris?
Sure. How this game is compared to other ones. Mechanically, it's kind of interesting because it's one of the early games that doesn't have any like lock delay yet. Like a lot of the early games, there's like sort of like this period where they're all like trying different mechanics and so on. And this one, like, I think is interesting because it, challenge-wise, is as difficult as like something like Tetris the Grandmaster, but in this like really like strict way. Like, I don't know, it feels like a very classic game, I guess. It's brutal. But yeah, like mechanically, it's interesting that there's all these mechanics that seem sort of accidental, but make the game work way better, like the movement, momentum system, and so on. But yeah, I'd say gameplay-wise, it's pretty good. Like, you have to kind of get used to the fact that the piece movement speed is slower, but it gives you all the tools you need to survive through up to the kill screen, so I think it's pretty well designed in its own quirky way. Like, yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff about it. But yeah, what was the other question? It was about,
It was do you run anything else?
Do I run anything else?
Tetris.
Um,
Someone asked about Dr. Mario, specifically.
Oh, yeah. I sometimes run some other things, but, lately I've just kind of been playing Tetris or Tetris the Grandmaster. Tetris the Grandmaster because it's more of an actual speed game. Like, the RNG is much less severe, and it is built around like saving frames wherever you can, and like scores are sorted by time and so on. Other games I've tried to speedrun is Metal Slug a little bit. I've 1cc'd the game with like I think like a 1612 or something, which is not bad for playing on MAME with like the lag. I think the weird thing about Metal Slug is that some of the best times are set on an emulator that doesn't emulate the lag right, but like the players are really good. It's like some of the like Hong Kong players, I think. Either that or Taiwan, I forget right now. But yeah, and then like I've done like Cave Story Hell IL a little bit, but like nothing super good. So yeah, I don't know. I play F-Zero right now because that game is fun. I don't know. It's nothing that like I speedrun as seriously like as other players, I think, but I try to pick up stuff here and there. F-Zero X, not F-Zero SNES. Yeah.
There was a question about Game Boy Tetris. Have you ever played that version?
Yeah, I mean, I played it when I was a kid. It was like my first version of the game, but I just play this now in terms of the Nintendo games. Well, that and Tetris and Dr. Mario for the Super Nintendo. Like this is basically like a majorly improved version of Game Boy. Like Game Boy, you have to mash. You can't move the pieces well by holding left and right. So you have to mash like constantly, and the game just is like awkward and the RNG is broken. So.
This question's for me. Tetris for TI-86 calculator.
No. I used to play it in class and stuff, but it's...
Yeah, there's like a huge gap in my math knowledge because I discovered Tetris for TI-86.
Yeah. It's like, that game is, it's based around Game Boy Tetris, sort of, but it's also kind of, I remember finding that it was kind of broken, because if you pause, when you unpause, the gravity takes a time to come back. So you can just pause and unpause and like max out the score counter that way. I think actually there's like a kill screen though. Huh?
I found a bug for that version where if you hold down and left simultaneously, the pieces just stop falling.
Oh, solid. Okay, cool. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff about that version. Yeah, I was just gonna say that there's a kill screen in it, like when you get to a certain level, like you can't move the pieces anymore because they just drop every frame, and there's not like a way to move them on frames that they drop. So the game just kills you, which is pretty good. Yeah, there's something else weird about it. But yeah, no, that game is really, it's funny. Like, it's Tetris, like, in, you know, appearance, but I think there are better options to choose.
One thing that we haven't talked about that I was also curious is versions of Tetris where you have the hold piece option. How do you feel about that?
So I think that it usually works out pretty well, actually. Like, especially like the prime example would be since I'm a TGM player. It was added in TGM 3, which if you've seen like the Invisible Tetris video, it's that viral video that went around as TGM 3, and I think it suits that game pretty well because previously it was just one preview, no hold, and they sort of pulled out all the stops in terms of speed for TGM 3, and I think it smooths out that game. Like, I wouldn't put hold on NES Tetris because then it would just be trivial to max out, because part of the game is, battling with the RNG and, keeping your setup until the piece appears and so on. But for games that are, based around, speedrunning or time attack or, want to really push the speed level, I think there's a lot of interesting strategy in reordering the pieces. That's actually difficult to maintain at high speed as well. So I think that it has to suit the game, but it's potentially a good feature.
I can answer that. For people coming in late, max out is a score of 999,999, and that's what he's going for here.
Yeah, I'm still kind of miffed about those like 600Ks at like level 22. Had all that room to grow into and then kind of petered out, but I think I can get another good run going. This is pretty good pace so far, so I just have to hold it together for a bit longer. Oh, nice. Perfect piece.
Someone has asked about Tetris Friends, which is a web version of Tetris. I actually used to play it myself. I thought it was pretty decent. Have you any experience with it?
Yeah. My only complaint would be like about the Flash client not being super responsive, but I think that game turned out to be pretty decent in the end. I think probably one of the better official versus games clients that we still have since Tetris Online Japan closed. Tetris Online Japan was the game that people were like really going hard on, and like a lot of the features, like when they were doing like a beta period for the versus mode in Tetris Friends, people requested to get pulled over to Tetris Friends. So yeah, I think it came out pretty decently, and they finally listened to people and let you adjust your piece move speed and so on, because a lot of times official games can be kind of slow about how fast they let you move the pieces left and right and so on without like it's bad when your game makes you have to mash to move faster than the move speed. Usually you want it to like go to the walls quickly. So I think all things considered, Tetris Friends came out pretty okay. I think people still prefer to play on either like if they were gonna play serious matches, they want to play on like a homebrew client that has more customizability or more responsive control and so on. Or oh, I'm about to transition. I should probably stop talking about this. But yeah, to kind of finish up that thought, there's like I was saying about Tetris Online Japan, there's like a kind of private server client that kept that game alive after it died, and they play on that too, with the piece speed unlocked, because it used to be a slower game than it was before it, but the private server has faster piece move speed and so on. But Tetris Friends is not bad. Like, I hope that they make like a native client that has the same rules at some point, because it's, the rules are okay on paper, just like the Flash client doesn't always respond super well, and there's some weird bugs. Okay, but I'm gonna try to play this one out.
Yeah, focus up. I'll hold questions.
I'm scared because I don't have any momentum. There it's back. Okay, good. Yeah, perfect. Nice. Okay, cool. I was ready to hold out for a drought there. Oh, man. Oh man, it's getting close though, because ah man. Ah man, this is not good. Yeah, okay. I might be able to live, but I don't know if I have enough lines to max. Ah man, this game. Ah. There was 12 lines left in the game to the kill screen, so I think I didn't have enough room to max it out. Ah, no. Darn.
That was nice though. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah. I was thinking about putting ARG, but it takes too much time. Oh man, that's really a shame.
Do you want one more attempt?
Yeah, let's pull one more out and see how it goes. I think there's
All
room
right.
for one more time.
Yeah, alright, do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sucks, like when you get stuck in that position where everything's messy and you're just clearing singles and you know that every single you clear is just making it that much harder to do it in time. But you gotta try to live. Yeah, I don't feel too bad about that run. Even got some good, you know, recovery moves at the end there, like 2-frame window twist and so on. But yeah, having the stack on the left is hard because the game is asymmetrical. The pieces come out closer to the right, and they also, when they rotate, move to the right. For in the case of like S, Z, and I pieces, so. Usually you want to have the, I don't know, like people have different styles depending on like whether they want to make it easier to get their stack taller on the right, or if they want to have it easier to get pieces over to the right to clear lines. But most people stack with their channel to clear Tetrises on the right side. And I was stuck with it kind of like, there was this gap on the left that I was trying to get stuff over to. So there's all these like, you know, tech moves you have to do where you like have to tap at the last second and so on to move them over, and I was just like, I need this back on the other side, and there's not much time left. So I don't know, it's rough when you get in those situations. Are there any more questions from the chat?
Here's a weird one.
Hmm.
Somebody asked about how you pack things in real life. So for example, do your Tetris skills maybe apply to, I don't know, organizing anything else in your house in general? Do you fit everything in on the bookshelf like Tetris pieces?
I don't know if quite to that level, but I don't know. I do try to pack things kind of space efficient when I can, but I'm not sure if it is necessarily a one-to-one correspondence. Like dishwasher, like the dishes are not really they don't align to a grid, but I don't know. I try to pack things in the dishwasher sometimes, I guess. But it's they're very much not Tetris blocks in the same way.
Someone asked about the distribution of pieces. Is there some kind of math behind it, or is it completely random?
This particular game, it's like many NES games. There's like entropy, so you know when the timing of things affects the distribution sometimes. Like you know, like if you go in an like a luck manipulation in a task kind of thing. Like if you go in an emulator and you know place a piece on a different frame, you'll get a different piece. So it's kind of hard to say like with certainty. But it's, I don't know, there are certain pieces that, like, I've done some disassembly and so on, and run a program. There are certain pieces that come, like, very slightly more common than each other, but it's not too bad. Like, it's not, like, as bad as Game Boy Tetris, where, you know, like, when you disassemble, like, Game Boy Tetris, the randomizer, like, when you look at the algorithm, one bug that yields one distribution, like, you know, I think L piece comes 10% of the time in Game Boy Tetris, and like J, I, and O come 13% of the time, and then everything else comes 16% of the time. But then there's actually another bug in how the randomizer works in that game, and then you get like T's 24% of the time. But yeah, I think NES Tetris is kind of even. I mean, there are some bias, but yeah. The other thing is that when you get a piece, your next piece is less likely to be that piece. It remembers one piece, and will re-roll up to once. Although, like, the way it works is kind of weird. I think they just use it as a there's also a possibility of the number 8 coming up, which is a dummy, and then it just always re-rolls for a piece, regardless of whether you've seen it or not.
Yeah, everybody, please follow the runner. Follow Kitaru. This is some really good stuff. Do you stream often?
I've been trying to stream more often lately. I was streaming practice attempts for the tournament and so on. I'm probably going to switch back to Tetris, the Grandmaster series, when I get a chance soon. So I'll try to stream more often, yeah.
Yeah, no, I just followed you.
Thank you. Alright, the dream is real. Uh-oh. Nice, okay, cool. And it's not being nice. Oh no, that was less fast than I thought that piece was gonna move. Ah, yeah, no. Wrecked. Okay, well that's unfortunate.
Amazing play, man.
Thank
Amazing
you.
to watch.
Yeah, that was really great.
Yeah, sorry that I couldn't max it today or get a 900, but I think those like 800-ish scores kind of show what this game's about. It can be brutal sometimes, but if you really push it, you can show it, you know, the true potential, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's impressive to see you have all these strats to take away a certain amount of a block and make it into, I don't know, it's...
Yeah, like skim it away, and then like what's remaining is 4 lines. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's really impressive to watch.
Well, yeah. I'm glad I could show it. Thank you for having me on the stream.
Yeah, you really did a great job there. Thanks for letting me commentate. I enjoyed watching you run as well.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, everyone, follow Kitaru if you want some Tetris Craigasm. All right, thank you so much, Kitaru, for joining in the marathon.
Yep.
Alright, next up we have K-Mac with Castlevania.